Major General Mohsen Rezaei. Early life and education. Birth and family background. Full name: Mohsen Rezaei. Merka date of birth: September 9, 1954. Place of birth: Masjid Soliman, Khuzestan Province, Iran. Ethnic background: Bakhtiari. Tribal origin: Lur speaking. Southwestern Iranians. Family: Life: Ahmad Rezaei, son born late 1970s or early 1980s. In Iran's background, raised in a revolutionary and military household, but took a different path. Defection: in the late 1990s or early 2000s. Ahmad defected to the United States. Seeking asylum, criticized Iran's government and reportedly worked with U.S. media and intelligence. Eventually returned to Iran, though reports conflict about the circumstances and his intentions. Death: in November 2011. Ahmad was found dead in a hotel room in Dubai under mysterious circumstances. Initial reports suggested suicide or overdose, but suspicion of intelligence involvement was widely discussed. After Mohsen Rezaei remained tight-lipped about his son's political views and death, expressing only grief and a call for privacy. The tragedy deeply affected him, yet he continued his public duties without withdrawing from political life. Religious and cultural values: Rezaei is a devout Shia Muslim, and his family observes Islamic traditions. Modest public appearance, education for children, moral values, patriotism, and service to the Islamic Republic, privacy and security. Given his long tenure as IRGC Commander and later a top national strategist, his family life is highly private. Public appearances with family are rare. Biographical interviews avoid revealing personal household details. Media scrutiny of his private life is minimal compared to Western political figures. Family and upbringing: raised in a conservative, religious, and patriotic family in the oil-rich, ethnically diverse Khuzestan region. The family valued Islamic piety, national loyalty, education, and services environment. Shaped both his religious beliefs and early political consciousness, especially due to the Shah's authoritarian policies, foreign influence over Iran's oil sector. Education path: primary and secondary schooling. Completed elementary and high school in Masjid Soliman and Abbas. Was recognized early as intelligent and disciplined. Excelled in mathematics and science, but also showed early political awareness. University education. Admitted to the Iran University of Science and Technology, IUST, in Tehran. Studied mechanical engineering. While studying, he became politically active in opposition to the Shah's regime. Student activism and political radicalization. Late 1970s. Political involvement: joined Islamist nationalist student movements. Became associated with underground Islamic organizations, including Maktabi Quran Islamic coalition groups. Wrote political essays and organized resistance groups against the monarchy. Arrest and escape. Arrested by SAV, the Shah's secret police, in the 1970s for revolutionary activities. Tortured and imprisoned, but later released due to political pressure. Went into hiding and operated under false names, including Rezaei, which became his public surname. Intellectual influences. Influenced by Ayatollah Khomeini's ideology. Revolutionary thinkers like Ali Shariati saw the revolution not only as an Islamic movement, but also as a national liberation struggle. Military career: 1979 to 1997, joining the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, in 1979. Rezaei helped form and organize the IRGC, created to defend the newly formed Islamic Republic. He rapidly rose through the ranks due to his strategic acumen. Revolutionary credentials: loyalty to Ayatollah Khomeini, Commander, Chief of the IRGC, 1981 to 1997. Appointed at just 27 years old after the assassination of previous IRGC leaders by the MEK in 1981. Served as Commander-in-Chief for 16 years. making him one of the longest-serving military commanders in post-revolutionary Iran. Iran-Iraq War Leadership, 1980 to 1988 Strategic Contributions, directed IRGC. Military operations alongside Iran's regular army Artesh helped shape Iran's human wave strategy early in the war, particularly during Operation Fath al-Mobeen, 1982 Operation Beit al-Muqaddas recapture of Khorramshahr, Operations Khaybar and Valfir series organizational development turned the IRGC into a structured, capable force with ground units, naval and air divisions basage, paramilitary volunteers, technological focus, promoted self-reliant defense industries, initiated development of missile systems, electronic warfare units, defense engineering programs, post-war military rebuilding 198-81997, shifted focus from frontline combat to military modernization, oversaw missile development programs, for example, Shahab series IRGC's expansion into intelligence, economy, and security, greater IRGC role in internal affairs and strategic planning, doctrinal influence gated for asymmetric warfare and unconventional tactics to counter superior Western and regional powers, was instrumental in embedding ideological training within IRGC ranks. Departure from military leadership, 1997, voluntarily stepped down as IRGC Commander in 1997, passing the baton to Yahya Rahim Safavi, transitioned to civilian political leadership, becoming Secretary of the Expediency Discernment Council later, presidential candidate and Vice President. Legacy of his military career, pioneer of Iran's military doctrine, helped shape Iran's modern defense identity, built the IRGC into a multifaceted force, military, political, and economic, political and civilian career Secretary of the Expediency Discernment Council, 1997 to 2021, appointed by Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Role mediator between the Iranian Parliament Majuls and Guardian Council, also responsible for advising on national strategy and legislation. Key contributions: advocated for economic reform, privatization, and resistance economy, developed national security policy recommendations, promoted Iranian self-sufficiency in key sectors. Presidential campaigns, 2005 presidential election, ran as a principled conservative, emphasizing economic justice, scientific progress, withdrew days before the vote to avoid splitting the conservative vote. 2009 presidential election, ran again, positioning himself as a moderate conservative, focused on economic restructuring and fighting corruption, came in third place, behind Ahmadinejad and Moussav. 2013 presidential election, campaigned on technocratic governance, strong defense policy, pro-business reforms, placed fourth, behind Hassan Rouhani. 2021 presidential election, his fourth presidential run, campaign focused on reviving the economy, opposition to Western pressure, lost to Ebrahim Raisi, Vice President for Economic Affairs, 2021 to 2023, appointed by President Ebrahim Raisi in August 2021. Acted as economic negotiator, advisor on budget, inflation, and currency policies, stepped down in 2023, citing the need for new direction in economic policy. Public intellectual and political commentator, frequently writes essays and gives interviews on Iran's geopolitical strategy, Islamic governance, economic independence from the West, known for balancing revolutionary ideology, technocratic and pragmatic reforms, influence within the conservative camp, seen as a principled conservative technocrat, distinct from more populist or hardline voices, often acts as a bridge between military elites and civilian institutions, has close ties to IRGC veterans, economists, traditional conservative clerics, personal traits, strategic thinker, possesses a sharp analytical mind, often described as methodical and long-term oriented. Key architect of Iran's asymmetric warfare doctrine and strategic military planning, advocates for self-reliance and geo-economic independence. Highly educated and intellectual, holds a PhD in economics from Tehran University. Known for reading and writing on philosophy, economics, and strategy. Frequently publishes in conservative and military journals. Balances military and political roles with a strong theoretical framework. Disciplined and reserved, maintains a strict lifestyle reflective of IRGC discipline. Rarely seen in relaxed or informal settings. Keeps emotions under control in public, even during personal tragedy. Pragmatic conservatives, despite deep ideological loyalty to the Islamic Republic. Rezaei supports economic reforms, advocates for negotiated diplomacy with the West under strict terms, views himself as a technocratic conservative, not a radical populist. Bridge builder, seen as a connector between Iran's military elite and civilian government. Trusted by both hardliners and moderate conservatives, often plays a mediating role in Iran's factional politics. Guarded and private, extremely private about personal life. Rarely discusses family or emotional issues in public. His inner circle is limited, mostly senior IRGC or clerical figures. Work ethic and loyalty known for long working hours and hands-on management style. Loyal to the principles of the Islamic Revolution and supreme leader. Seen by insiders as reliable, professional, and unwavering. Respected but polarizing, admired for military leadership during Iran-Iraq War, intellectual discipline and strategic depth, criticized by some reformists for support of IRGC's growing economic political role, conservative views on civil liberties and media.